Right, well, we've got everything out from the tent, and everything is either well, not everything, but one or two bits either in here, I'll put the water there, or in the main pulk bag. Heavy stuff at the back, lighter stuff at the front. That's the tent bag, so we'll just put that there. And then the same as yesterday, basically. So, you know, if you had to or you wanted to, then, you know, you could have your sleep system laid across the top, because obviously then it's supported by the thingy bobs, but obviously we don't need to do that. So that's the top. So then the air mat is folded under here, and because we can fit it in the bag, it's kind of like we will fit it in the bag. At first it's like, oh well, it will never go in, but you just got to remember it's an air bag, you know, sorry, it's an inflatable mat, so of course it goes down, and of course it's a down-filled sleeping bag. And once we've got this in, we've then just got the tent to do. Oh, that solar panel, I forgot to say, that solar panel took that 26,500 milliamp power bank from half to full in 2 whole days, so that was pretty good. Right, let's get this tent dug out. I don't know how easy or what this is going to be. I'm already warm just thinking about it. So we'll do the door up. So we've double checked. We've taken everything out. So obviously one of the first things to do is to loosen off the 4 things, which I did tighten up eventually. I think what we'll do is we'll go for the easier ones first, which potentially is these. I think for ease, as I've got this, and speed, I'm not sure that really makes a huge difference, to be honest. What I don't recommend doing, it is quite warm work. What I don't recommend doing is trying to pull, if it's attached, you know, properly, then yes, you can try pulling. But these four, if you remember, these are the dead men. Those, and I don't recommend pulling those up, because if you leave them behind, they're then very, very difficult to find afterwards. I discovered that yesterday. So these four, in a way, are a little bit more difficult, because the other ones, once you're quite close, alright, well, we're going to work around these slowly and we'll catch up in a minute. Okay, well that's four of those. So, it's really difficult. You have to just chomp and chomp and chomp at the eyes. But we've done the four middle two, the four middle two. So now we've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5, 10. I will admit, I don't know how you'd manage this in a storm, you know, especially one person. Obviously when it's very windy and you can get the pegs out quite efficiently, it's not too bad. I guess maybe you'd have to do the front ones, assuming the wind was coming towards you, leave the back ones in place, get the poles out, and then, or flatten the poles, and then start rolling it, get it in the bag, and then tackle the back ones. Let's get these front ones done. So these, because obviously they're attached, you can just pull them out. Alright, that's one. I'll show you the effort that it takes just to do one. I think for this a bigger, heavier duty, because I do think that this is easier and better. And you got to remember that all of mine are on yellow lines, and we don't even have a yellow line there. But yeah, I think a heavier duty spade would be potentially helpful. I think I can see I think it would be a case of, in really bad weather, getting these out, loosening off the front and the back. Yeah, I tried that pokey thing again. I really don't like that idea, because then it puts a sharp dent in the peg. So obviously if you were to roll up your tent with that, I think that would be dangerous. You know, that could tear the tent. So I've done this one and this one. That one you can see the anchor, this one you can't, but it's not too far away. And then the ones at the back I've also started, but you can't see the anchors, but I have at least started them. So let's loosen that off. Let's loosen that off. And then try not to stand on the bit that you're digging. Let's loosen that off. And loosen that off. So I think if we can make it, you know, as loose as possible. We've already loosened these off. So that one we can collapse down. That one we can collapse down. That one we can collapse down. And that one we can collapse down. So now they're all collapsed down. Now obviously in a storm it's going to be thrashing like a banshee. But then what I'm thinking is, if I now dig these two out here, so I'll do that. So we've done that one over there. And then once we've come on. It does get a bit. It does get a bit frustrating, I have to say. If you can, ideally you want to try and get behind it. nearly there. There. Fuck. Alright, so that's that one. And then obviously, because we've not put tape on these, we don't know exactly where the halfway mark is. I think it's about there. Obviously, if you were doing this properly, then you'd put tape on every single one other than the one that one we've cocked up. Maybe that one. Yeah. Obviously, if you put, as I say, if you put tape on them, then you know exactly which one it is, and that will save obviously precious moments. I think it's going to be that one. Yeah. So that's your half. Obviously, they've come out of the back end, and as I say, if you don't wreck your poles, your anchors, then obviously you can leave them attached. This one I've taken off because I damaged it, and I'm not risking the material. And obviously those the four edges. Oh. And it might benefit doing up the middle. So you might benefit doing up the right, that's got it rolled right to the end, and then we need to get out those last two pegs. At this point, if it was really windy, I'm not quite sure what you would do, because you could put the bag there. Although, to be fair, how easy that would be one person you'd probably have to drag the pulk over to it. I guess if you could do that much, remember we're still secured to the ground here, so as long as you don't lose your bag in the wind. You can do it up to that point there, and then I suppose what you could actually do, because we can see the two yellow lines, you could probably see, sometimes I'm not as stupid as I look, because we can see the two yellow lines. We can put that in there, do that up. I don't think that's going to blow away. That's your tent secure. And then we've just got two more lines to dig out. So I'll get these dug out, and then that's your last two dug out. And then just put them in there, and then that then goes on top of that, and that's tea bag marks. That's not pee, that's tea. I spilt my tea in tea bags. Flaming heck. Well, I will admit that is hard work. That is not easy. All right, I'm gonna have another puff a minute. Oh, and just remember to fill in your holes. Right, and then once you've done that, then basically we put the skis on, we put the shovel on, and then the tent goes on. I noticed these loops line up, and the bed loops, for some unbeknown reason, don't really line up, but it doesn't matter. Obviously it looks very packed up at the moment, but you've got to remember it's a sleeping bag in there, so we will compact it down. I thought I heard a skidoo earlier. There's one over there, but it's not beyond. They must be doing other funny things, because there are houses here. There's well, not houses, but there are like holiday cottages over there. So that's probably what I heard earlier. I heard skidoos earlier, and I must admit I was in bed I was in bed when I heard them. Well, I was getting ready, and I thought, oh, well, I hope that's not Bjorn coming out to say hello when I'm still in bed. So it did give me a little bit of a chivvy on, but I needed to get going anyway, to be fair. Not that I would have minded Bjorn coming out, but it was kind of like, oh, I want. I kind of want to get going, not talking, but it wasn't, so that's okay. There, and that's your body shape again. It looks like you're carrying a body, and that's it. And then we've almost left no trace. This is the spot here, just before a little drop down and along, so we'll have to be careful with the pulk just there. But I had Bjorn skidoo me to this point here, so this is about 2 kilometers. It's just under 2. I thought it was about 1.5, but actually it's just under 2 kilometers from here into camp. So that's obviously what we did the other day. So it's about 1 kilometer to the lake now, and it's really flat. Well, it's being flat. All this has been flat, this last bit, but this next bit is either downhill, a lot of downhill, or flat down. So we should make quite good progress now. So we'll get back to Bjorn's in the next half hour, I would imagine, and then we'll see if he's there. If he's not there, I'll leave the pulk, I'll go down to the dome, grab my wash kit, come up, go in his house, because he leaves the door open, and I can go in and shower, and then but he'll probably be there, and then if he is, I'll go down, get my wash kit, come back up, shower, and then I'll get him to help me down with this to the dome. I could get this down. I mean, I've done slopes, but it is a bit steep from his house to the dome. And if he's got the skidoo, then we may as well make the most of it. Anyway, yeah. So this is basically where this part of this trip started. But obviously, we'll do more recording when we get back to the dome of unpacking everything. So I think we'll probably call this the end of this part, and then anything else potentially will be another part once we're back in the dome. We'll kind of see, but you can actually see the lake through there, and there was me with grand ideas, you know, like a year ago, that I would be able to ski up and down the length of the lake or something like that. Anyway, we got back here safely with the snowshoes. Let's get back to Bjorn's, and then I'll be ready for a bit of a freshen up then. We'll catch up again later or in the next video, however it pans out.